Welcome back at the second part of this two-part video series on why exactly you should be taking natural supplements to manage your ADHD, ADD, to overcome or prevent ADHD, burnout and chronic fatigue, and overall, of course, first of all, trying to manage your energy levels, all your mental brain power and regulate yourself, but not only being able to manage that, but also of course making progress in life. Because if you can invest in your health, it is really like putting more high performance fuel for the mind and into the body, so of course you can perform better in your life and unleash your creative energy and do the things that you are supposed to do. So within this video we're going to dive further and deeper, like okay, so what exactly are these supplements that you should be taking for yourself and how to take them, of course. So in my last video I spoke more about why you should be taking on board additional natural supplements to manage your ADHD. So if you haven't watched that video yet, it's more about different kind of challenges we might be facing in the modern day world, and that's why so many of us are feeling that we are constantly dragging water to the sea, but we are constantly burning ourselves out, and all the challenges and the odds that are stacked against our favor. So let's go and dive straight in the type of supplements that I'm taking for myself in order to do better for myself. So why I've been decided to do this, first of all, it's making a decision on what kind of priorities you want to make for yourself. I've been through a massive burnout myself in my life when I had an internet marketing business, and I was doing quite well financially, but then the whole thing went down and I felt very ashamed and feeling guilty, and I was completely on the floor dealing with chronic fatigue, anxiety and stress and all of that. So I wanted to manage my hyperactivity but also my highly sensitive personality traits in order for me to do well and do the things that I'm actually meant to do. So for that reason I decided I need to invest in my mental health, my physical well-being. So taking on additional supplementation, it basically only works if you have like overall lifestyle in place. If you don't have that, if you have a crappy lifestyle, you can do whatever you want, it's probably not really going to work or do that much for you. And how this overall lifestyle should look like is really what I will share at the end of this video. So number one, let's take in multivitamin for men or women. Depend, of course. These are for men because that's really what I'm taking. And let's have a quick look what they can do for you. So I'm here at Live Good. This is the vitamins that I'm taking from this company. I've been trying out different kind of supplements from different companies, and so far I'm really highly positive about my whole experience with this type of supplements. So here are the multivitamin for men. And if you want to dive further and deeper, because I want to move quickly through all of this, because what I will be discussing are like 8 essential natural supplements and then also some additional that you can take as well. So here are the multivitamins. You can really read everything that's on here, and you have a couple of videos. We have a whole video call explaining exactly what these multivitamin for men or women are doing. You see there's a member price and a retail price. If you want to save some good money and you want to, then you can go and click here, become a member, and then you pay like $9 a month. And then if you really want to order this on a very consistent monthly basis, then of course you can really benefit from lots of discounts on these products. So you see here the description on what exactly this multivitamin is doing for you. Because in my previous video I also already spoke about that within our modern day diet we have a lot of seed oils and soy, and that is really like messing up our hormones. So for men, for both men and women, for men particularly, of course when you're messing up your hormones you will notice that testosterone levels are declining, and that is already happening early in your 30s. So that's why we're not really getting so much of vitamins in order for us to build muscle, maintain strength or build strength, and improve our mental and physical well-being. So that's why taking on additional multivitamins is of course a big plus. Now let's move on. The second on the list is D3 and K2. D3 of course represents the vitamin that we should be getting from natural sunlight, but if I also already discussed in my previous video, most of us are waking up in the morning after the sun has risen, we get in our car, we drive to our office, spend 8 hours of our day inside an office environment, and then come home and then have our dinner and spend the rest of our evening in front of the television watching a Netflix series. So that's why we're not really getting a lot of day 3 or vitamin D. So that's why these additional supplements can definitely help with that, and it is really absolutely a must-have to start with. So here on the Live Good website we see here D3K2. It supports strong bone density, maintain healthy heart function, high quality vitamin D and K. So once again you see here everything that's on the supplements facts and a couple of videos as well explaining exactly what it is and what to do for your health. Once again you can read everything here below. So with that one out of the way, let's move on, because the next one on the list is magnesium. Magnesium is an absolute must-have, especially when dealing with ADD, ADHD, because this one is very important for our mental health. So why magnesium? You can learn a lot about it. It's really for maximum muscle, nerve and energy support. So once again on the website, Live Good, link down below, you can go to the shop. And then if you scroll down a little bit here, you see here Ultra Magnesium Complex. Maximum muscle, nerve and energy support, support over 300 enzyme, sleep support and most bioavailable magnesium. So here you see everything you need to know about it. There are a couple of more in-depth training videos explaining a lot of what magnesium is and what it does to your health. So let's move on to the next one, because I want to really crush for it, which is number 4, which is the plant-based protein. Protein, of course, are the building blocks for our health. Now, of course, you can have a lot of proteins from a carnivore diet, paleo, keto diet, which is absolutely a must-have. But taking in additional complete plant-based protein plus some amino acids is absolutely a must. And what I do is I throw some of these proteins into my smoothie, whether it's a red smoothie from beetroots and some frozen berries or a green smoothie. It doesn't really matter, or smoothies based on pineapple, banana and other citrus. It doesn't really matter. I always throw on these additional proteins as this is part of my breakfast routine. So here on the shop, complete plant-based protein. Rebuild and restore muscles and joints. Build and maintain lean muscle. Fortified with all essential amino acids. Click to learn more. You can see all the ingredients, what is in there, and of course a more in-depth video by the founders on what exactly is in there. Also here description. You see here pea protein, organic hemp protein, fermented protein, amino acids. So it's much more than just a protein shake. So highly recommended, must have, to throw it into your morning smoothie to feel energized throughout the day. Number 5, creatine. Now of course this is a little bit, might be controversial for a lot of us, because when we think about creatine we think about the bodybuilders who are building a lot of muscle mass, and that's why we must take on creatine. Basically we are getting creatine also from consuming a lot of meats, but are we really consuming that much of meat? And also of course what I've explained throughout my previous video as well, like the consumption of meats. Of course this is very good and healthy for us, because this is really part of our ancestral diets. We also live in a world where we have political agendas, it seems, that are attacking the meat production farms and the farmers. And also here in the Netherlands with the agenda of 2030 that the taxes are being raised as well on meat. So that's why we must take on these additional supplements for us to get more creatine. So it's really about building lean muscles, but it's also improving, and it's really good for our brain health as well, because especially when we are very hyper, we are using a lot of our brain energy. So it needs that additional fuel and energy to perform well, otherwise we stay stuck in first or second gear. And if you're not really sure what creatine is, what it is, how it works, and why you should be having it, then once again you can go here, go to the shop, and then look for the section and give yourself a little bit more time on learning what creatine plus HMB can do for you. Once again, it's really about improving muscle strength, reduce recovery time, promote maximum endurance, support weight management, support cognitive function, which I've mentioned. So this is really about, like I said, supplementation is something additional, that's why it's called the supplements, to an overall lifestyle. So that's why it's of course important is that we do the exercise of high intensity workouts, bodyweight exercises, weightlifting, cardio, because of course that is going to build the strength. Once again, we don't have to become bodybuilders or absolutely complete athletes, maniac, obsessed with it. But you will notice, and I've noticed this myself as well in the CrossFit gym, that my strength and endurance is improving because I am taking and mixing all these different supplements within my system. So let's move on to number 6, and that is ashwagandha. This is one that I got from my local shop, Holland & Barrett. I'm sure you have these kind of shops everywhere. And what ashwagandha does, it will reduce the stress hormone called cortisol. Now, because we live in a very stressful world with lots of external influences and the chemicals and the pollution that we get exposed to on a day-to-day basis, and the amount of stimulation coming at us, that is of course giving us already like stress, that is improving our stress, which can have a major impact on our hormonal balance. So for men who want to build more testosterone in a natural way without injecting themselves with lots of stimulants, which is absolutely not necessary, lowering the stress hormone will produce testosterone in a more of a natural way, which is of course absolutely needed. And of course it will give us more rest, mental rest, and help us to relax our hyperactivities as well. So ashwagandha, highly recommended. I've been taking these on board since 1 week ago, and I've already started to notice like what it is doing to me. Number 7, lion's mane. This is also an absolutely highly recommended supplement for managing ADHD, because that will also really help and improve cognitive function and memory. So this is also what I've been taking, and it helps really to relax my mental hyperactivities that is going on. So lion's mane, write it down on your list, absolutely a necessity. And then the last one of the 8 essential supplements, natural supplements for your ADHD, are of course the omega-3s. Because within our diet we have so many like seed oils and kind of oils that are picking our insulin and is giving us more of the omega-6, and that's why the omega levels can get out of a little bit of a balance. So if we would eat a lot of well-caught fish naturally, at least 2 or 3 times a week, then we should be okay. But are we really having wild-caught fish 2 or 3 times a week? I wish I could, but of course wild-caught fish is also a little bit more expensive. So what we do is of course we go into supermarkets and buy farmed fish, which is of course one of the most polluted food products we can actually buy, because they are full with hormones, pesticides, chemicals that are absolutely toxic for the body. So be very cautious with produced farm fish and go after the wild caught fish. Go to your local fishmonger and see what is on sale. But besides that, the omega-3 is absolutely a must-have to improve, of course, our mental health. So these are the 8 essential natural supplements to manage our ADHD. But now, of course, like, what else could we do? Because there are still like so many other nootropics and proteins that can really help us to optimize our performance for our physical health, mental health. If we improve the strength of our body through exercise, that is of course also helping our mental health as well. So number 1, that really should be part of your overall health and wellness and well-being, are super greens. Now, in my case, I also have pretty much of a sluggish liver. I got the so-called the gilded syndrome, which means is that my liver don't really produce enough enzymes to get rid of toxins, and that can make me feel a little bit more fatigue throughout the day. And when it comes to ADHD, we also feel we have maybe also a really highly sensitive gut, and the gut, of course, is working together with the brain, because all our nervous system are extracting the nutrition from our gut. Okay, so the gut is basically the soil where the roots of our tree of consciousness, aka our nervous system, is of course extracting all his resources to optimize and regulate our whole nervous system, brain, mind, spirit, heart and soul. So having super greens can really help us to improve our digestive health, getting rid of these toxins that can take so much longer for the body to get rid of. First of all, be very cautious, of course, what we take in our diet, but sometimes, you know, we do have a time where we like to enjoy and indulge into things that we know is not really good for us, but we want to enjoy it because it's very tasty. Or we just go and buy something from the supermarket, although we know it's maybe not in our best interest, but we do it anyway because it's more convenient and it's comfortable and it's quick and easy. So that's why super greens can be an absolutely must-have to take that on board as well. Once again, go to the website of Live Goods and you will find more information about the super greens as well. Next one, super reds. And what I like to do is I like to blend in, for example, the super greens or the super reds within a smoothie. If I make a red smoothie of beetroots or with additional red berries, banana, some apple, then I also throw not only the plant-based protein but also the super reds, because the super reds is really about cardiovascular health and the blood circulation. And when we come to blood circulation, what it's also going to do, so here's one for the men, of course it will help you with your sexual organs as well, because if we have the blood flowing, we know what it can do. Let's move on to the next one, which I think is also really good. I'm a big fan of coffee. I can't get rid of my coffee, but we never really read exactly what is in the coffee that we buy in our supermarket, so who knows what has been processed through that as well. And that's why it can also be a really good idea to have some organic coffee scheduled in, because this one contains not only fiber for weight management but maca. Maca is not something I have mentioned already throughout the essential supplements, but actually maca also should be part of these essential supplements, because maca can also be really good for our natural production of our hormones and testosterone as well, but it also helps for the mental clarity, plus the green tea for brain function as well, plus it has been enriched with 6 different kind of healthy mushrooms. So I've been testing out this one. I gotta admit, I gotta be honest, I had to get used to the taste a little bit, but I think overall when I had maybe one coffee, normal coffee in the morning, then later in the morning I decided to go with the organic coffee, because that can really help to improve some of that focus. Because if we take too much coffee with too much caffeine, that can also have a reversal effect on us that can also produce stress and anxiety to us as well. So something to be aware of. Then I got this one, which I absolutely love, which is the E3. And the E3 are 3 kind of electrolytes: energy, endurance, and the electrolytes. And what it does, it can really help us to improve our performance in the gym. So this is something that I take before I go to the gym. Or it can also help to improve our performance when working, when we need to get things done and we need a little bit more activity going on, especially when we have been feeling a little bit sluggish in the afternoon. So instead of taking on a frizzy drink or an energy drink, then this is much more of a better solution of producing some additional energies. And you can just mix it in with water, and I absolutely love it. Next one are these essential amino acids. So once again, these are absolutely a must-have. I will say they are absolutely a must-have. And it's just a powder. It tastes really good, delicious, fruit punch flavor. And it supports muscle strength and function, boosts stamina and recovery, promotes energy and focus. So once again, this also can be a perfect way to replace a frizzy drink or an energy drink, because this is much more of a better solution. And I absolutely love it. I have it almost like every day. Then I've got also the factor 4. This is also something that is like in the wellness pack. When you decide to take on these essentials, they are coming as well in a pack as well. And that really is like healthy heart support, supports joint and organ health, promotes immune health and supports healthy circulation. So also this one is like a blend of 4 different kind of ingredients, such as fish oil, turmeric, coenzyme Q10 and garlic. Okay, so this is really good. But once again, you can go to the website of Live Good and look for the factor 4, and you see of course a couple of videos from the founder themselves explaining exactly what's in there, the benefit and what it can do for you. Then we also have, which is going to be my last one, are some nootropics, which is like an anti-aging nootropic. So how it works, they are like a bit of a patch, and then you can open it up and then put it on your tongue, and then you will notice a bit of an additional energy boost. So it is a nootropic, and I've tested on this 2 days ago, and I do notice a difference in enhanced memory and into my brain health. But the other thing is that your tongue stays blue for quite some time. So if you have like client meetings, for example, maybe it's not a good idea to go and do that just before you move in a meeting. But maybe you can do it earlier, because I noticed that your tongue can stay blue maybe for almost like up to 2 hours. And also you're pissing blue. So that's another thing, then don't be surprised. And once again, there is one that is the anti-aging nootropic, but there is also one for improving sleep. And when it comes to sleep, the best thing is actually to take are the melatonin. The melatonin, for us as ADHDers, I've already mentioned that in my previous video, we might have this old brain thing from an old soul, which maybe comes from the hunter-gatherer ancestors who had to stay up at night protecting those who were sleeping, and that's why we always feel more hyperactive throughout the evening, and for us it's more difficult for our brain to produce these melatonin that are telling us to relax, to unwind, to go to sleep. So taking on additional melatonin for at least 2 hours before we go to sleep, like 8:30 or 9 o'clock or something, and then switch off completely. And I noticed that could really help us to move away from stimulations like scrolling through social media or video games or video series or films or movies, because that is of course giving us a lot of stimulation, and then we stay active, hyperactive, and then we wake up feeling tired, sluggish and fatigued in the morning, or we don't want to wake up at all. We wake up at 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Well, actually we should be waking up a bit earlier. I'm not quite a morning person either, so that's why for me it is also like training myself to go and unwind instead of still thinking about my to-do list and all of that. So taking on this melatonin can really help, and there are also sleep patches that you can find on the website Live Good that can also help with that as Well, so this is a lot, and of course they are a supplement. So first, it is like building foundation of having a healthy lifestyle. What is a healthy lifestyle? First of all, diet. Think about paleo, keto, carnivore diets, which is only recommended for a short period of time, and then move back into paleo, because paleo also includes organic fruits and veggies, lots of nuts, dry fruits which contain a lot of fiber, and of course lots of fish, wild caught fish, and organic chicken, and grass-fed meat, which is the best thing to do. Because if you have grain-fed meat, the name it says, these cows has been fed grains, and grains of course contains gluten and all the herbicides and pesticides which comes into the body of the cow as well. So that's why it's better to go and have grass-fed. These are cows that has been roaming freely and has been, of course, like consuming a lot of grass, which makes the meats more organic, healthy, and taste lots better. So it is really like a high protein based diet, and when it comes to the carbohydrates, try to see if you could lower that, and more of course like healthy carbohydrates. Think about organic potatoes, even better, more like sweet potatoes. And when it comes to rice, I don't really do very well on rice because of my sluggish gut, and it makes me feel a little bit anxious. Has too much gluten, so I prefer to stay away from that. But also think about, if you want to eat some bread, think about sour bread, which is more natural, more organic, and of course has less gluten, because a lot of bread that we buy in a supermarket is of course produced in not the most healthy way because of all the preservatives in it for us to hold this bread for a much longer time. And then of course the fats and butter, real butter, that's really good for us, not like the margarine, no, healthy butter. And of course olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil. If it's not an extra virgin, then it's the refined oil that may also contain like the seed oils that is like peaking our insulin and peaking our omega-6. So just be cautious about that. So diet number one, part of adaptation. Second, exercise, high intensity workouts, body weight exercises, CrossFit, calisthenics, whatever works for you, okay? Weightlifting and all of that. If you want to go into home workouts, of course there are lots of programs that you can follow. I will leave a link down below so you can check out maybe some free resources to see if that can work for you. Then of course sleep, I already mentioned that also in my previous video. You should be able to unwind early in the evening so we can prepare our mind and body to go to sleep and wake up refreshed. Especially because we are quite hyper, then it is also very much needed to have at least 8-9 hours of sleep. If I have less than 8 hours, I notice that I feel a little bit more sluggish throughout the day. And then the big one, which is one of the major challenges in our modern day world, which is of course consuming less internet consumption, less screen time from our laptops, our devices, phones and all of that. And I know that it is a bit of a challenge as well, and that could also lead to much more outdoor time, nature time. We need much more time in the outdoors, walking, riding a bicycle, hiking, sailing, out sports, outdoor calisthenics, out in the park, and let's see what it does to you, to your health and well-being. But also self-improvement, feed the mind with motivation, inspiration, concepts to think about on how you could improve yourself. And then through self-improvement, you can also go further and deeper into spirituality, like energy healing, Reiki, shamanism, soul retrieval, ancestral healing, the whole lot. You can go and explore that for yourself as well. But all of that is still quite individualistic, and we live in a very individualistic society, and we are all human beings, and humans need humans in order for us to really grow together. So also becoming part of a soul tribe is of course a necessity, mandatory, and although we think we have our independence, we don't need each other anymore, we need each other very, very much in order to be part of a tribe, of a soul tribe, because even when you have friends and family, it can feel like they don't really understand you because they are probably not part of your soul tribe. So find a soul tribe. Nowadays more people can relate to complete strangers because they are resonating with each other on a whole new level. So providing empathy, compassion and understanding towards each other is of course an absolutely must to have in our life as well. Both men and women, but especially for men as well, because we think we can do everything on our own. We don't need each other anymore. If we want to open up to a woman, we're not always quite sure if that's going to work against us or in our favor, or we're being perceived as weak or emotional, immature or whatever. So that's why men also need other men to reflect and really talk about what is going on in our minds, in our spirituality, at our health, at our fitness, financially, business, relationship and all of that. So that's why we also must come together. So loads of information. I'm going to wrap this one up. If you have any questions, please let me know. Simply drop a comment below. Like, subscribe, feel free to share, and I look forward to see you in one of my next videos. Take care for now. Bye bye.